Hello everyone, this is G. Mary Sugna, lecturer in English, Satya Reddy College for Women, Eluru. I am going to deal with the topic from English Praxis 1, a course in communication and soft skills, which is common for all UG programs. Today, we are going to learn about tenses and how tenses play a crucial role in our daily lives while we communicate in English language. The word tense refers to the different forms of a verb which tell us when the action referred to happens before, at the time of, or after the moment of speech. Here, the word tenses to refers to the different forms. That means here the verb plays a vital role. It indicates whether that sentence is in the past or in the present tense. Here the verb, based on the verb form, we can find out or we can understand that whether the sentence is in the past tense or in the present tense. And we all know that tenses are divided into three kinds. They are present tense, past tense, and future tense. And every tense is has four forms. They are, if we take present tense, we have simple present or indefinite tense, present continuous or progressive tense, present perfect tense, present perfect continuous or present perfect progressive tense. In the same way, past tense, simple past or indefinite tense, past continuous or progressive tense, past perfect tense, past perfect continuous or past perfect progressive tense. And finally, future tense. Simple future or indefinite tense, future continuous or progressive tense, future perfect tense, future perfect continuous or future perfect progressive tense. In English, verbs have two different tense forms that indicate whether something occurs in the present or in the past. As I said earlier, verbs plays a key role. Here, based on the verb form, we can understand that whether the sentence is in the present or in the past tense. Here the verb plays a key role. For example, we go to school every day. Here the present form of go indicating an action takes place in the present time. And if you look at the another example, we went to school yesterday. Here the past tense form of go, that is went, is indicating an action in the past. But if we want to talk about an action that expected to take place in the future, there is no separate tense or form of the verb that can be used. For example, he will go to school tomorrow. That means here will go is indicating that an action is going to happen tomorrow, it seems. Let us discuss the present tense in detail. First, simple present tense or indefinite tense. Here the rule comes subject plus verb 1, yes or es is added to the root form plus object. Based on the rule, we need to construct the sentences like this. I write a letter. We write a letter. Here I is the subject, write is the verb 1 or the main verb, a is an article, letter is the object. And in the another example, we is the subject, write is the main verb, a is an article, letter is the object. The simple present tense is a verb tense with two main uses. We use simple present tense when an action is happening right now or when it happens regularly. Depending on the person, the simple present tense is formed by using the root form or by adding s or es to the end. For example, If the first person is singular, we need to construct as I go. If it is second person singular, you go. If it is third person plural, they go. But if the subject is in the third person and singular in number, we need to add s or es to the main verb so that he goes, she goes, it goes, Rani goes, Ravi goes. Here s or es is added, need to be added to the verb 1 when the subject is in third person and singular number. So if we are writing based on this rule, we need to construct she writes a letter, or Rani writes a letter, or Ravi writes a letter. Usage of simple present tense. Here, simple present tense is used for habitual actions. Habitual actions means to tell about the habits, regular habits. For example, I brush my teeth every morning and every night. He gets up at 6 o'clock. When you observe these two examples, both are the habits of the human beings. I brush my teeth every morning and every night. Here, he gets up at 6 o'clock. Both are indicating the habits or the habitual actions of common things or the common human beings. And if you use the simple present tense for universal truths or general truths. Universal truths means facts. For example, the sun rises in the east. The earth revolved around the earth. When you observe these two sentences, we have been learning these sentences, or we have learned these sentences since our childhood, and we may teach these things to our children and even to our grandchildren, because these truths will never be changed, because they are general truths. We use simple present tense for proverbs and quotations. For proverbs and quotations, we need to mention them only in simple present tense. For example, Shakespeare says, all that glitters is not gold. And John Keats says, a thing of beauty is joy forever. And here both are the proverbs and said by somebody else's. So while we are mentioning about such proverbs and quotations, we need to mention them only in simple present tense. Next, simple present is used for repeated actions. Repeated actions means routine actions. For example, birds migrate every year. Here, migration is common for birds. They migrate every year. So, when are we mentioning about the repeated actions or the regular actions, we need to mention such statements or sentences in the simple present. Simple present tense is used for planned future actions. Of course, they are planned future actions. They are going to happen in the future. For example, my father retires next year. Even though that situation, that means the action will be going to happen in the next year, we can mention such kind of statements or sentences in the simple present tense. Next, simple present tense is used in conditional clauses. When are we mentioning about the conditional clauses, we need to mention them in simple present tense. For example, if you work hard, you will get first class. Otherwise, you won't get. If she runs fast, she can catch the bus. Here, there is a conditional clause in both the sentences. So, when are we mentioning, or in order to indicate such conditional clauses, we need to represent or refer them or to write them in the simple present tense only. Indications. The key indications to find out the simple present tense, whether that sentence is in the simple present tense or in some other tense. We need to know by observing or by looking at these words, these keywords. Here, every day, every week, every month, every year, every Sunday, every morning, every evening, every night, today, usually, generally, always, regularly, daily, occasionally, often, seldom, rarely, hardly ever, never, etc. By looking at these key indications or by using these key indications, we can tell them or we can find out the tense form of the sentence. Next, the present continuous or progressive tense. Here, continuous or progressive, that indicates or that describes an action is going on. Whatever the action which is started earlier is still continuing. అంటే ఏ పని అయితే మొదలు పెట్టామో ఆ యొక్క పని ఇంకా జరుగుతూనే ఉంది అని ఇండికేట్ చేయడానికి కంటిన్యూస్ ఆర్ ప్రోగ్రెసివ్ టెన్స్ ని యూస్ చేస్తాం. హియర్ ద రూల్ కమ్స్ సబ్జెక్ట్ ప్లస్ am or is or are plus verb 1 plus ing form plus object. Here the examples are I am writing a letter or we are writing a letter or she is writing a letter. He is writing a letter. So here I is the subject, am is the helping verb or present continuous verb or auxiliary verb. Write plus ing form, writing plus a is an article, letter is the object, and we is the subject, are is the helping verb. Here the person, okay, based on the person. Here we, based on the subject, we need to add the helping verb. And here main verb plus ing form plus an article plus object. And in the similar way, subject plus helping verb plus main verb and ing form and article plus object. Here the present progressive or continuous tense is used to refer an action which is in progress at the moment of speaking. For example, when you observe the commentators on radio or television or a sports match, they use progressive or continuous tense to describe the events which are happening while he or she speaks. Here, continuous or progressive tense is used when a commentator who is watching the match has to describe to his audience the action what are taking place, that are taking place while he speaks. That means మనం ఎప్పుడైతే మాట్లాడుతున్నామో ఆ మాట్లాడేటప్పుడు జరిగేటటువంటి యాక్షన్స్ ని ఇండికేట్ చేయడానికి ఆర్ టు డిస్క్రైబ్ చేయడానికి, వివరించడానికి ప్రోగ్రెసివ్ టెన్స్ ఆర్ కంటిన్యూస్ టెన్స్ ని యూస్ చేస్తాం. And the key indications to find out the tense is in continuous or progressive tense. The key indications are now, still, at present, at this moment, don't disturb, look, see, listen, etc. Exercise. Here they are. Here I have given you a small examples here. At present, they are building a house. Don't disturb them. They are reading. So both tenses, both the sentences are in the present continuous or progressive tense. Note, The following verbs should not be used in present continuous tense. And here we need to call them as stative verbs or state verbs. They express a state rather than an action. Here, for example, when are we referring to thoughts, senses, possessions, feelings, such etc., they are not usually used in the continuous tenses. But some verbs can be used as both state verbs and action verbs. If we take verbs of senses, smell, taste, hear, see, understand, etc. For example, the rose is smelling very good is a wrong sentence, but we need to construct in simple present tense only. The rose smells very good. Here, continuous or progressive tense is not applicable to verbs of senses. In the similar way, verbs of possession have, belong, possess, own, consist, contain, comprise. For such possession verbs also, we shouldn't mention them in continuous. Continuous or progressive tense. I am having a pen is a wrong sentence. Instead of that, I have a pen or I have a car. You can mention them like this. It is a correct usage. And in the same way, verbs of feeling have, hate, like, dislike, believe, think, hope, cost, etc. For example, she is hating him is a wrong sentence. Instead of using like that, we need to mention or we need to indicate she hates him is the correct usage. And some other verbs appear, seem, prefer, look, imagine, consider, etc. And here some other verbs shouldn't be used as state verbs and action verbs. So here, for example, I am preferring milk to tea is a wrong sentence. Instead of that, I prefer milk to tea is the correct usage. Next, coming to the next other tense, the present perfect tense. Here the rule comes subject plus has or have plus verb 3 plus object. For example, I have written a letter. And here I is the subject, have verb form, the present perfect tense of the verb, and written main verb which is V3 in condition. A is an article, letter is the object. And in the same way, she has written a letter. Subject plus perfect tense form of verb V3 in condition, V3 verb. A is an article, letter is the object. The use of the present perfect tense shows that an action was completed sometime in the past, and further that the completed action has some kind of relevance to the present moment of speech. Here, the present perfect tense does not tell us when an action was performed, but we cannot guess, but we can guess that it was performed sometime in the past. For example, the word perfect tells us that the action is complete just now. We use the present perfect tense to indicate a link between the present and the past. The time of the action is before now but not specified here. That means an action or a situation that started in the past and continues in the present. And here the word perfect tells that the action is complete. The key indications to find out the sentence is in the present perfect tense means just now, just before, till now, till before, so far, yet, recently, ever, never, etc. By using these key indications, or by looking or by understanding these key indications, we can understand that the sentence is in the present perfect tense. Next, coming to the another tense, the present perfect continuous or progressive tense. Here, the rule is subject plus has or have plus been plus verb 1 plus ing form plus object. So, based on this rule, we need to construct as I have been writing a letter. She has been writing a letter. Here, I is the subject, have is the present perfect continuous form of verb, have been continuous form of the verb, writing V3 in condition, A is an article, letter is the object. In the similar way, she is the subject, has been is the present perfect continuous form of the verb, writing main verb plus ing form is added, A is an article, letter is the object. Here we can mention that the present perfect progressive or continuous tense is used to highlight the continuity of an action. The present perfect continuous or progressive tense is a combination of the present perfect and the present progressive tense in form as well as in meaning also. The presence of the progressive form writing suggests action in progress, while the presence of the participle has been or have been suggests completed action. So, the combination of the present progressive and the present perfect tenses tells us like this: I have been writing a letter, or she has been writing a letter. Here, the prepositions since and for are often used with the verbs in the present perfect progressive tense. Here, since is used to refer to the point of time, that is in the past, at which an action began, while for refers to the period of time during which the action has been in progress. The present perfect progressive tense is used to highlight the continuity of an action. So here the key indications of the present perfect continuous or progressive tense are since 6 a.m., since 2005, since the morning, since the last night, since the last month, since the last week, since the last year, for 2 hours, for 3 months, for 5 years, for a long time, for a while, all this day, all these days, all this year, all these years. So, based on these key indications, we can understand that the sentence is in the present perfect continuous or progressive tense. Here is an exercise which is given for you. As per the rules that I have discussed now, identify the tense based on the verb forms which are given in these sentences. The first one is he practices yoga every morning. Second sentence, I go to library every evening. Third sentence, my uncle who lives in Varanasi is visiting the state. Fourth sentence, the president of India is arriving in Kolkata next week. Fifth sentence, I have given away all the books. Sixth sentence, we have wiped all the desks and benches. Seventh sentence, she has been sleeping in the room since the morning or for 2 hours. Eighth sentence, he has been writing an examination since 9 a.m. So, all of you find out the verb forms in each and every sentence. Thank you.